Hey guys, Bellamy here from Midnight Suns, and I just got out of the Singapore premiere of Gran Turismo. And let me just start off this review by saying it is easily the best PlayStation Productions movie ever. I mean, it doesn't have much competition. The only other movie that PlayStation Productions has done so far, although they are making a few more right now, but the only one that has been released so far is Uncharted, and this was way better than Uncharted, I can say that for certain. Anyway, I will just say this movie has a lot of heart. Like, I'm actually surprised at how many emotional scenes there were in this movie. Like, you probably wouldn't expect it judging from the trailer. You think it's just a story about like esports and car racing, but there's actually a very, very human story in this movie, and I quite enjoyed it. I thought the whole cast actually did a pretty good job of their performances. Like, especially David Harbour and Orlando Bloom. I thought they were the best parts of the movie, and Orlando Bloom in particular, he really stole the movie for me. He was playing like this, he's working for the car company Nissan, and he's like this marketing exec, and he's like one of those greedy guys in suits, and all he cares about is profits and making the company look good, but at the same time, his character has very strong morals, I would think, and even though his job forces him to do evil things, like things people would consider evil at times, but he ultimately still does his best to do the right thing. So if you're a fan of Orlando Bloom, I think you might really want to watch this movie, because I think he has one of his best acting performances ever in this movie. And I would say it's probably one of the best esports movies of all time. I know there aren't that many esports movies. Like, there are many movies about gaming, and I wouldn't say this is one of the best game movies, like movies about a video game of all time. Like, Ready Player One and Sonic were much better than this, in my opinion. But I would say this is, when it comes to esports, competitive gaming, this is probably the best esports movie of all time. Like, as someone myself who has been in the competitive gaming industry for a number of years, I actually think the way they portrayed competitive gaming esports in this movie is extremely realistic. So, how do I explain this? So, you know, the main character, he's like he's a racing simulator driver. So he only played Gran Turismo, the video game, but then it's based on a true story. He actually went on to become an actual race car driver. And this movie is about that true story. And in this movie, the way they show how the public really perceives gaming in comparison to like actual sports is very realistic. I won't spoil anything for you, but when you watch the movie, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. And another reason I was very excited for this movie is because it was directed by Neil Blomkamp. So I love his sci-fi movies like District 9 and Elysium and Chappie. Like, Elysium is one of my most, probably one of my, yeah, it's easily my top 5 best, most favorite sci-fi movies of all time. So I was very excited to see how he would handle this movie, and I actually think he did a really good job directing this movie. And I think this story, even though it was kind of predictable at times, I still found it very inspirational, and it's super exciting. So there's barely a boring moment in the movie. Like, actually, you know, if you're a fan of racing scenes, right, of car races, right, I think a good 1/3 to half of this movie is actually spent on the racetrack. Like, you know how a lot of people hate, like, not just racing movies, but action movies, right? Where like 90% of the movie is just people talking and only 10% has action. While this movie, if you want car races, I would say like at least 1/3 of the movie is just car races, and it's awesome. Like, the CGI and everything is just amazing. So if you really like car races, check out this movie. And if you're a fan of the video game, I actually think, like, if you want maximum enjoyment out of this movie, you have to be a fan of the video games, the Gran Turismo video games, because there are a lot of references to the video games that you probably won't understand unless you're a Gran Turismo fan. So yeah, if you are a Gran Turismo fan, definitely check out this movie. Or even if you're not, I actually still think it was a pretty decent movie, and yeah, you can still enjoy it for what it is. Oh, and I didn't mention, the movie is actually slightly over 2 hours long, and that means, like I said, you know, like a good 1/3 to half of the movie is just spent on the racing scenes. So it's like you're probably getting close to like maybe like 40 minutes to an hour of racing scenes. So, I mean, I might be wrong, but that's what it felt like to me. So yeah, you can definitely look forward to that if you really just like the action. Like, I would say this is probably the best esports racing gaming movie. Even though I know there's not much competition, but yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, and I would say out of 10, I'll probably give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, But I think if you are not a Gran Turismo fan, maybe you can drop it 1 point, like maybe 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, so gamers, definitely check out this movie, especially Gran Turismo fans. And yeah, like I said earlier, this movie was made by PlayStation Productions, it was produced by them. And I'm really excited for the future of their studio now, their fairly new studio. Like, I really want to see how Days Gone and Ghost of Tsushima and whatever else they have, like Gravity Rush, yeah, they're developing those movies. And yeah, they also recently just came out with like on streaming, they had The Last of Us and Twisted Metal, which both of them have gotten pretty good reviews. So yeah, they are taking some big swings now, and I think they're gonna be one of the big players in both the movie and TV industry. So yeah, really looking forward to their future movies and TV shows, and will review as much of that as I can. Anyway, that's all for this review, guys. I was really pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie, and I really hope this movie does well, and PlayStation Productions, they might really become one of the best movie studios in Hollywood right now. I hope, especially when it comes to making video game movies. Anyway, that's all for this review, guys. Thanks again for watching, and as always, stay gold. Bye, guys.